So my name is Alia, and I'm originally from Kazakhstan, Central Asia, and I am a graduate student, a doctoral candidate in education policy program at the College of Education at Michigan State University. This is going to be my fifth year. And my research interests are international and comparative education, youth issues, teacher labor markets, and international development. So that's why I was very excited when I was offered this opportunity to be a moderator today, because I really do have the heart and experience and vision for the youth development and for the international development and understanding the role of youth in the development of economies and different fields of economy and education and social protection. So let me go over the program. The way we're gonna go today is that I'm gonna introduce our mentor, and then we're gonna move to the presentation session where every presenter will have 15 minutes to present. And since we don't have other presenters, I think it's just Ian presenting. He can take many more minutes, much more time if needed, to present his project. And then we're gonna have a Q&A session with presenters. Just any comments, suggestions, questions from experts or anyone else. And then after that, last but not least, is the professional development section, where we're going to ask our expert of any questions related to professional development, career planning, skill development, networking, and more. So that's our plan for today. We'll have about 45-50 minutes to do that. And then I think we're going to go back to the main room. So without further ado, let me introduce our mentor, expert, Angela Baldry. Angela started at Education Abroad as a financial services coordinator in early 2023. She works on securing payments to vendors and with the program coordinators and directors. She makes sure that all financial needs are met, which is very important. And she works on budgeting, reconciliation, on the education abroad budgets and curriculum. Prior to arriving at the university, Angie worked in business management at a local law firm, data management at a political consultant firm, and many other areas in the Michigan legislature. Angela lives in Alchemus, which is next to East Lansing, with her husband and two teenage daughters. So welcome, Angela, and we're happy that you can be here. So Ian Keegan is a student at Dedan Kimathi University of Technology in Kenya, and he's pursuing an undergraduate degree in telecommunication and information engineering. Sounds so cool. I don't know anything about it. So I'm looking forward to getting to know Ian and about his project. So Ian proudly serves as one of the leaders at the club, International Association for the Exchange of Students with Technical Experience, of a Dekud chapter. And he facilitates global exchange opportunities for students, visiting scholars. Ian's passion is centered around exploring innovative ways for youth to enhance internationalization in their institutions. He's also interested in how technology plays a significant role in enhancing internationalization through various means such as education, cultural exchange, communication, and collaboration. Amazing experience and skills, and we're looking forward to getting to know Ian and learning from him. So Ian, floor is yours.
Now, as she has just said, I'm from Kenya, Ian Keegan, from Dedan Kimathi University of Technology. Now, I chose this theme under internationalization. I'm trying to solve the SDG goal number 10, enhancing equality within and among countries, not Africa, but all countries in the world. But I learned about GIAN and this Global Advanced Network through my professor, who's the head of internationalization in Dedan Kimathi University of Technology. She's really passionate on internationalization, and she told me that I have to apply, send a proposal to start to present on this day, and I was really excited. So only to say that I'm really excited to be here and to present. My presentation is actually short, not too long. It has many pictures, many stories, initiatives youths are taking in enhancing internationalization. Okay. This is a picture of students championing for internationalization. We can see from the hands students from different countries, different color, different students, different from different countries. Many students who are really championing for internationalization. Next slide. Now, as I had initially said, I'll be addressing goal number 10, reducing inequality within and among countries. And here we are going to explore the role of the youths in enhancing internationalization within the institution. Only to start with a quote, youth is not a time of life, it's a state of mind. It encourages the youth to be potential in enhancing international, in portraying and doing what they can do. Next slide, please. Now, why internationalization matters in reducing inequality within and among countries. And maybe to start with, even youth empowerment. Through internationalization, many youths can come up and enhance this so-called internationalization through enlightening other students from the less privileged countries, those students coming into the institutions who do not know the cultures of where they are going to. The youths in the institutions can help in enhancing their comfortable stay in the institution and making sure they are all equal. Now, from cultural exchange and networking, different students from diverse cultures around, of course, our institutions are normally global, different students from different countries. Now, these students have different cultures, and through internationalization, we can enhance inequality through making sure these students are okay, learning the culture of where they are, and networking, getting to know other students. On education access and quality, through the scholarships, different exchange programs, curriculum developments, students can get access to even better educations from their countries and in other institutions through this internationalization thing. So we are seeing internationalization can really help in solving the goal number 10 in enhancing equality within and among countries. Access to on the issue of access to opportunities, different students can get equal access to different opportunities in other institutions, the institutions they are actually visiting. Through internationalization, they can get other opportunities that they couldn't get in their institutions. Thank you. Next slide, please. To start with the quote, the world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page. This is from Augustine of Hippo. It encourages us that we have to travel to different countries in order to enjoy our lives. We need to, internationalization talks on not being only in your institutions. You need to interact with other students, many other people. I'm targeting the students in this presentation because they can really champion for internationalization in the institutions. Now, only from the statistics from Dedan Kimathi University of Technology, this is an institution that champions for internationalization and ensuring people are all equal. We can see Germany leading. We've had an exchange with with Germany, and we received 30 students. We managed to send some of our students to Germany. Sweden, we can see it's one. These are statistics of 20. These are the statistics of 2023. We are yet to get the statistics of 2024. Now, on this other percentage, the positive impacts of studying abroad, we can see these are ratings, the survey from the students on their perception on studying in different countries, which enhances equality. Now, we can see 98% of the students said it's better, they learned a better understanding of their own cultures, values, and biases, increased self-confidence, they became confident. Studying abroad influenced subsequent educational experiences and acquiring new skills and increased maturity. Now, maybe we can now go to the next slide. Now, the power of the youths. Now, we we have approximately 1.3 billion youths in the world. This is from the UNICEF report. And from the image right there, these are students championing for internationalization. I'm on the farthest left. We are under the club IASTE International Association for the Exchange of Students with Technical Experience. On this event, we were enlightening other students on the exchange programs and internationalization activities and how to take care of the new students coming to the institution, especially the international students. Now, these are the roles of youths. These are the roles that youths can take part and play in the institutions. This now championing for internationalization. Now, just from the slide, young people play a crucial role in movements of equality and justice, leveraging social media and other platforms to raise awareness and mobilize actions. Now, from this sentence, we can see that the youth can really champion for internationalization through their movements and also enhance equality through their movements and social media platforms, and also encouraging and enlightening students through maybe the social medias of the institutions and many others. Now, there's a global inequality gap, SDG goal number 10. This impacts access to education, healthcare, opportunities, and the youth can really play a crucial role in addressing these issues. They can advocate for inclusive policies and practices and many other challenges, and they can also challenge the status quo and promote equitable systems. This enhances equality. Now, they can also enhance the quality of education through championing for internationalization in the institution. From the quote, the youth do not know enough to be prudent and therefore attempt the impossible. This is a very nice quote from Paul S. Buck. Kindly, let's go to the next slide. Only to start with the images. This one, we have International Cultural Day in our institution. And normally on this day, we normally enhance internationalization through training students showcasing their cultures, different experiences. This from the farthest left. This was a student talking of food in his or her on her institution. Maybe in the next slides, but don't go right now. We'll see the many wonderful pictures of students enhancing internationalization. Now, on the roles of the youths, we have engaging international projects. Students from different countries can engage in common projects, and this will enhance internationalization. Also, leveraging technology for virtual exchange. Students can use technology for virtual exchange, maybe through collaborations and having virtual conferences like these ones that we are having right now. Also, leading global awareness campaigns and organizing workshops. Students can organize workshops to enlighten others on internationalization. On the next slides, I will be explaining on how our institution has managed to get network with a South African university and a Tanzanian university, where we get to interact with students from IASTE club in those institutions, and talking of the wonderful experiences and how we are taking care of interns, international students coming to our international students, on how we take care of international students coming to our institutions and how we enhance internationalization. Also creating and joining cultural exchange clubs. From the post here in IASTE DECO, this is a club under the main IASTE umbrella, which offers exchange programs within Europe. Now, we can see these clubs from the pictures we'll be seeing on the next slides. We'll see how this club has managed to enhance internationalization. Next slide, please. Now, some youth-led initiatives that do not require a lot of funding, but students can simply perform them, and this really enhances internationalization. These are day-to-day activities, and they are simple and engaging initiatives, fun and budget-friendly activities, building connections and cultural appreciations, enhancing internationalization through everyday actions, as I've just said. And we can start with hiking. We can see here Aberdares, Kenya. This is where some international students had gone for hike with the local students into different places around Kenya. We can see one of our international students who was on internship in Switzerland. These are some students from Switzerland managed to take him for hiking. Now this internationalization on the other side from Switzerland. Now we can see students on camping. This was in Masai Mara in Kenya. You can see a student here interacting with a community. The old man is from a community in Kenya, the Kikuyu community. These students has got a chance to learn the different cultures in Kenya. You can see a reading some two students behind a wall uh, saying, and the name is Savo West National Park. These are students who visited a national park with other international students from different communities and different cultures, getting to learn the culture of Kenya. You can see students visiting some national parks in Kenya, students organizing nature walks, some youth-led initiatives that actually do not require a lot of funding, and they champion for internationalization and ensuring that students get equal access to many opportunities through learning. Assuming a student learns a culture in Kenya, he'll be able to survive on the day-to-day activities since he knows many things about the country. Next slide, please. Now, some other simple initiatives, maybe cultural cookouts and picnic. From the first picture on the left, top left, this a student cooking for the international students, the different foods in Kenya. This is something that does not actually require much funding because this is something we do daily. You can see the student was cooking his food here in Dekut. We can see a student showcasing his pieces of arts to other students. Now, on the other picture where people are on a table seated, playing games and having, it was actually a picnic where we had taken international students and the local students to interact. These are picture showing students with their buddies on the bottom right, students with their buddies, and this enhancing internationalization. Buddies are students assigned to international students to take care of them and show them the day-to-day activities. These are during the cultural day, students dancing and showcasing their cultures. Now, this only to list them, the buddy system for interns and new students, where we assign buddies to local students to be the first friends of the international students arriving in the institution, utilizing digital platform to connect with peers from around the world and engage in online cultural exchange. This what I was talking about, the Open University of Tanzania, where we are to have an online session with the students from IASTE, international students, talk of different cultures and different exchange. We have Sefako Magatho University of South Africa, same thing. Also in art and music exchange programs, I managed to capture a picture of students enhancing internationalization through their cultures, dancing and showcasing what they know on their culture. You can also see organizing cultural movie nights. I never managed to capture that. Community volunteering and social impact projects. Through our club, we normally take students, international students and the local students to visit the local maybe children's home, hospitals. These are initiative, maybe cleanups of the closest town. These are initiatives that are on volunteer basis, and they enhance internationalization. Through these initiatives, students can learn the various cultures of other students in the community. Excuse me.
You're back now. You were out for a couple of seconds, but we can hear you now.
Oh, we can maybe to talk on the last thing, language and cultural exchange tandems. In our club, we normally organize forums where international students are taught the local languages. and so that they can interact with the other communities. Maybe basic languages for those who do not know the local language, and this makes sure they are equal in the community and they are open to talking to anyone. Next slide, please. Now, we can go to the role of institutions. Institutions are the ones that can really champion for internationalization through supporting the youth and the students. Now, from the first picture, this is the vice chancellor. The vice chancellor is the head of the institution. You might be calling him the president, but of the institution, but we call him the vice chancellor in Kenya. Now, this on the International Day, on the second annual International Day in Dedan Kimathi, and he was addressing us on the opening remarks. And we have the head of internationalization in Dedan Kimathi, Dr. Anne Kirugumi, who informed me of Global Youth Advanced Network. Now, institutions really do play a big role in enhancing internationalization and reducing inequality among countries. They can provide support, resources, mentorship through some dedicated office and staffs. We have the international office in Dedan Kimathi ready to support students with needs and anything to do with internationalization matters. Assuming you want to go on an exchange program, the only office to visit is the best office to visit is the international office. When an international student comes to your institution, the best office to visit is the international office where you get to learn more about the institution. Financial aid institution can play a big role in supporting the students who do not have access to equal opportunities and championing for internationalization initiatives through the International Cultural Day, an example where the institution really champions for enhancing internationalization through some cultural exchange. From the pictures, we can see students gathered in a hall listening to other presentations from students on internationalization. And institution can also play a big role in creating opportunities for global exchange programs through study abroad programs, exchange programs like the IASTE, where students go for exchange, and maybe to add on cultural events and integration programs. These are programs that are not in the institutions, but through the youth can encourage their institutions to work on this cultural day so that international students can learn the local culture, and those students who do not have opportunity to go out of the country can also get experience on these presentations from students who are actually in their institutions. Thank you. This the on the far right is the next. These are images from the International Cultural Day, the one I was talking about. It's actually the best day in Dedan Kimathi with cultures. Next slide, please. Now, the challenges youths are facing on enhancing internationalization, the language barriers, and limited resources. This language barrier is a challenge that faces many students seeking for internships or exchange programs in institutions. But now, through the institutions, we will get to see the challenges on how to overcome the challenges. Now, limited resources in some institutions. Some institutions do not actually have the resources to enhance internationalization and need for inclusive policies. Some institutions do not have policies that actually enhance internationalization and encourage equality within and among countries. And how can we overcome these challenges? Maybe to talk of the quote, in the middle of difficulties lies an opportunity. We can use technology to enhance internationalization through virtual engagements with students around the world, and also building strong partnership amongst our institutions and other institutions across the world. And on the call to action, can participate in exchange programs, study abroad programs, virtual exchanges, which enhances equality through internationalization, supporting youth-led projects like the students' clubs and organizations, the youth conferences and forums where students get to know more and get equal access and opportunities through the forums, and engage in global discussions and initiatives in like the international conferences, online forums and webinars like this that we are having here. Next slide, please. This is actually the last slide, and thank you. And I'm Ian Keegan.
Well, thanks so much, Ian, for a very fascinating presentation. There's so much information, so many activities, initiatives you're leading. Thanks for doing it. I think we're gonna move to our next presenter for the sake of time. And then after everyone presents, I see that all the three presenters are here now. And then we can move to questions. I do myself have so many questions to you, Ian. I'm very, curious and want to learn from you. But hopefully others will also have some questions. So I think that Laura is ready to present. She's here. Thank you so much, Laura, for joining. Let me first do a short introduction of Laura and then give the floor to her to present. So Laura is from Albania, and she's highly skilled legal professional based in Korçë, Albania. So she has a lot of experience and background in law. She holds a bachelor's degree in law from the University of Tirana and Master's of Science in Criminal Law. Sounds so fascinating, from the same institution. So currently, she is developing her experience at the Albania School of Advocacy. She has a lot of different roles. She has a position as an audit expert for the municipality of Erseka and has experience as a public notary expert and legal assistant. She has amazing experience. She can tell you more about it. She's fluent in French, and also she has a lot of skills and knowledge in MS Office and other presentation software. She's very active in academic and professional communities and participated in different conferences, projects, and competitions, demonstrating her commitment to continual learning and excellence in her field.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Laura, and my presentation takes the title, or goes by the title, My Female Diploma. It's actually one of my biggest achievements as a writer, because that's my calling for every single girl and women, not just only in Albania, but in the whole world, considering that every single one of them suffers from body image or self-image. So it's actually just like a call. Yes, you, me, we all are unhappy with ourselves, our life, or everything. I don't like this, I don't like that, I like to be different, taller, thinner, healthier, blonde, brunette, straight hairs, curlier, cheekier, bolder, more silent, and a mountain more than what we are. Why? Because unwittingly, when we took our first steps and uttered our first words, we were told to be different from what we were created to be. What do I say? They put labels on us from birth on what we should or shouldn't do and be, because, dear girls, we are women. They fill our rooms with pink walls, stars on the ceilings, lace and ribbon for the beds, and ribbons and dresses for us. They showed us the lines within which a girl should be, what's the proper label for being female, because that's how we should be first, much earlier than being a human being. And we fed with these insecurities, let's be honest, type of typologies created by society for what a girl should be developed to our insecurities. So let's be honest. How many of you wake up every day telling yourself in the mirror that you are an amazing person? I don't. I'm sure that a large part are in the same line. Why? Simple, because we are all filled beyond what we can handle with small grievances and lack of gratitude for what we are and the blessings we have. When we were still children, before the teenage phase put us with shoulders against the wall, in short, we didn't care for anything. How we looked, what others thought, and we were happy with ourselves. Then a crisis of hormones, and voila, transformation. We wake up every day wanting to be someone else, and we forget about the miracle we have of being ourselves, unique, unrepeatable beings with our own inexhaustible potential, free, regardless of the limits that society may have set up for us over the years. They are nothing that we and only we can give weight to or ignore. It is our choice, and equally the responsibility for our own happiness. Do you know, no one can make us happy or fill us with love if we don't love ourselves first. Everything that happens today, all I hear is dissatisfaction. Amazing girls who don't like themselves because the media, social networks, and the hell knows what filled us with the image of being perfect. You cannot be perfect while you are complaining or trying to be someone else. It is enough to be yourself, and no one will be more perfect. We want longer, healthier hair, blonde or brunette, red, straight or curly, without burn ends, and everything. Believe me, this only happens on TV promotions for shampoos and creams that bring heaven to your hair. The reality, we desperately seek all this and forget how blessed we are in the first place that we still have our hair, where someone else there has lost the chance to feel its light over the face when the window blows. Then we look for eyes that are beautiful and attractive so that people cannot separate their eyes from us. I don't know how many times I found myself saying, I hate my eyes, brown. Then I saw people who unfortunately do not have the luck to see the world, the clear sky in the spring, the ground covered by snow or autumn leaves, and I regretted it. Happy for the miracle that I have the privilege to see. Not to mention how many times girls are dissatisfied with their ears, nose, or lips, rounded cheeks, and dimples in them, which simply make them look so special and perfect in their uniqueness. Then a bikini ad is enough for a week's frustration. Everyone wants stronger physiques, bigger breasts, longer legs, and a slimmer waist. Let's be realistic, girls. We are human beings, not mannequins. Dissatisfaction with a physique becomes even stronger when judgments are attached to them from society, which, for the sake of the truth, always has something to criticize. So the efforts to be perfect are not even worth it. But those who become a better person and version of themselves are undoubtedly priceless. I like food. I really enjoy it, not only because it's a physiological need, but as an art of itself. I want to eat if I want to eat. If I don't want to eat, this is nobody's business but mine. My extra kilograms, according to you, make me feel good about myself. And you, whoever likes to label a girl as bone and skin, guess what? She is the happiest in the world under her skin. Maybe you should start dealing with yours. Who knows? Maybe you'll be happy too. I don't like it. I've never liked wearing pink. Not that there's a problem, it's just how I am. What happens when my relatives meet me on the street? Prejudices about clothing become annoying, and even worse when the reaction of strangers follow behind their backs. If I wear jeans, pajamas, suits, miniskirts, or whatever I and only I can decide to wear, this does not mean or define who I am. If I go with my hair messy, without fabulous makeup and slippers, this does not mean that I'm going through depression or that I'm not happy with myself. If I go out with this doesn't mean that I am here for street harassment on the sidewalks. It just means something. Mind your own business. If I love to stay at home, cook, read, or take care of my family, these years does not mean that I am in the middle of a breakup, nor worried, stuck at the door or anything. I just adore the atmosphere of my house. And if I leave home, leave whenever I want according to my rules, go out every night, I come home late, run my own business and pay my own taxes, this does not mean that I'm a careless person, much less sponsored by rich and powerful boys or men. Not at all. This means that I'm happy being myself. If I pass 20s, 30s, 40s, and I still don't have my own house, career, family, or anything that can complete the picture of life according to you, it's just my business and nobody cares. If I go out with one or two or maybe three men, you must understand that the first thing, this is my business, and the second one is my life. I can't account to anyone. Whenever or not I get married after my 20s or 30s does not mean that I was empty-headed or lazy. And if it happens that before that sacred marriage ceremony, I am blessed with children or not, this is a part of divine that if you can have the privilege to have, no one can know my pain or happiness or for such a fact. If I get divorced or in the toxic relationship, that does not mean that I wasn't able to keep a man or continue to build and stay happy with my marriage and cohabitation. It doesn't mean that I am oppressed or naive. If I choose to have a sexual active life before marriage or not, that does not mean that I am an article for sexual relationship or backward. It shows that I have a choice and it's enough for it to make me happy. If I want to be a career woman, it does not mean that I don't care about my family and that I am a gold digger. If I want to be a career person, a wife, or balance both, for God's sake, understand the sacrifices before you judge. And if it happens that misfortune makes me suffer violence or rape, it wasn't the fault of my short dress or that I was stubborn. Be convinced. If I smoke or drink alcohol, I'm not unworthy. I'm just myself with my choices. If I want to make myself, to be myself, my age, my weight, my height, my hair color, style, gym or fast food, career or family, silence or rebellion, black or pink, high heels or sneakers, marriage or career, private life or Instagram profiles, let alone opinions and judgments have little or no place at all in all of this. Girls, we all have insecurities because the marketing that is done to perfect models and the habits of society from growing up have drained our self-confidence like butter cookies for Christmas. We have been and we have made to be dissatisfied, judged, to want to be someone else like X or Y, like the absolutely perfect models. But hey, for all of us, nothing can be absolute except for vodka. So it's definitely perfect to be yourself whenever it's a cup of tea or shots of tequila. Thank you. And that was one of my calling for every single girl and women out there who is feeling judged or prosecuted by people by the way they make their choices and everything else. And according to my calling, I was supposed to make this calling for every single girl in the university, for all the women who are house women who stayed at home, take care of the family, and even in public places. Because I believe that if we gave up the judgment and if we stick together and appreciate ourselves, nothing can stop us from achieving our dreams. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much, Laura, for a very inspirational presentation and a lot of great reflections and empowering statements. We're looking forward to discussing this more. I'm very curious to learn more about you and your position and your experience. I think we are scheduled to have a third presentation by Joseph, but somehow I don't see him on the screen anymore. He might have some technology issues. So while we're waiting for him, I was just thinking maybe we could just reflect on those two presentations and see if there are any questions, comments, reflections on both presentations, on Ian's presentation and Laura's presentation. So I do have a lot of questions, but I want to give an opportunity to others in the room to ask, reflect, or provide some feedback. So just feel free to unmute yourself and talk.
Yeah, Ian, wondering how you're planning on welcoming students into the program and focusing on the globalization, like getting the word out to everyone about your program.
Now, from your question, how we can get all students into the program. Now, let me start with the online engagements. I just said we are into having a online collaboration with Open University of Tanzania, a close country to Kenya, where we will interact with their students and talk to them. Actually, their lecturer is the one who was on a visit to Kenya, and we received him, ensured he's okay, and he really liked it. And he said, why can't you train my students on internationalization and encouraging them? Now, through the online collaborations, online engagements, and we are looking forward to having many other institutions so that we can chat on how to enhance this internationalization. Thank you.
Yeah, and Laura, I was wondering, how are you planning on getting your message out to girls and young women?
Considering that I have lots of relations with my former professors from university, and I also have a large of acquaintances, I think that I will contact every single one of them, and we will try to make some kind of campaign when every single girl and women out there is invited to join us and to learn more, and why not get inspired.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Anyone else wants to ask any questions or comments? If not, I can go, but Elena, would you like to go, please?
Yes, I have a question for Ian. So Ian, I know that you had talked about lots of different amazing programs that your institution develops for students. And I'm just curious to know what have you found has been the most impactful or successful program or project for internationalization?
Thank you. A very nice question. To start with the International Cultural Day, this is something that we organized as students, championed for it, requested our institution to set aside a single day to talk of different cultures. Now, this is a big project that gathers all students in the institutions, including the international students and neighboring institutions where students get to learn different cultures. It's always an online event, and we always encourage other people across the world to join in the event and also can learn something from it. Thank you.
Okay, well, if you don't mind, I have a couple of questions. I think that, Laura, I'm just, curious. I mean, I was very inspired by your statement and the project that you shared with us. I think it's so relatable to women and young girls and young women around the world. Despite the cultures, differences in cultures, languages, we all face different social prejudice or stereotypes. And, in some cultures, it's more prevalent than others. I just wondered, so a couple of questions. One, what inspired you to do this and to be so vocal about it? That's one question. And second is, have you personally experienced any structural barriers or power dynamics or anything in your particular culture or setting or school that led you? So could you just maybe share a little bit of more of your personal experience on this? Thank you.
Of course, thank you for the question. Well, first of all, it all started like so many years ago, like 10 years ago, maybe more. Because in high school, I came actually in a village in Albania. And there is some kind of racism and discrimination for the people who came from village compared to the people who came from the city and studied high school. And also I'm a Muslim, when the rest of them were all Catholics and Orthodox, and it was even much of a bigger racism act. So the first thing that actually made me so about it, one of my former high school, one she just called me and she's like, why can't you go back to the forest, because that's where you belong, and why? Just because I was one of those nerd girls, and the whole time I didn't give much a damn. I'm saying about the way I looked or the way I talked. I didn't care about other people's opinions. It made me like a lot depressed for a long time. And up until one point I say, you know what, I'm just gonna be like very strong about that, and I'm gonna go and confront her. I confronted her, and from that time up until today, I was a big activist about women's and the way they look and why they shouldn't be feared about what society or what people think of them. Another thing that also made me realize that I should do something about it was like 1 year ago, I realized that in my community and also in my city, women don't get much of attention, and they are not welcomed in different kind of parts of the city. Because if there is a bar for men, like it is visited only by men, we are not allowed to go there. If you go there, there's 100% chance that you will get harassed. And no matter what you're wearing, no matter how you act, you'll just get harassed. And I don't like it. Also, I was thinking, me and another one of colleagues and best friend, we were thinking about a non-profit organization in my city, so we can offer help for the girls and women who are suffering from body image and self-image, and also for all the girls and women who are victims of violence or rape, etc. And we were thinking to provide them with some free services like legal services, medical services, and being able to guarantee a workplace for them, because we know that they are going to be the whole time discriminated. Because if it happens, unfortunately, it happened that a woman in Albania, she gets raped, there's no chance in the world that she will get a job, because she will be like, you see, that's the one who get raped, and it's kind of a big discrimination. Or if you came from a diverse family, it's like extremely difficult for you to have a normal life. Or if you are someone who is overweight or underweight, you're still gonna get discriminated, and we want to help those kind of women. For all those who are unemployed, we want to create an agency so we can find some proper jobs for them, so they will start having a better image about themselves. It all starts with financial independence. As long as they are independent on the financial part, they can do lots of stuff with them, with their image, with their body, with the way they feel also. And we were thinking, why not creating a non-profit organization so we can help all those marginalized communities of women and girls so they can be integrated on the society in my city. And also a large group of those marginalized girls and women, they also suffer from depression, and we were thinking about creating a helpline so they can call whenever they need something, and clinical psychologists will be on their help. So it's not just a call, it's not just an inspirational TED talk. It's also very profound and a very deep active phase that we are actually going to go to, because I think that we will start to implement this project as legally. I always speak legally on the legal front from this September, so it's like less than a month away from us to create our non-governmental agency so we can help all those marginalized communities.
Thank you so much for sharing. I can
Thank you.
see and feel your passion even through the screen, even through the time difference and all the miles. And I really hope that, best of luck with all the activities you're doing. And I know that this life is going to take you far along. And the same with Ian. And so, Ian, if you don't mind, I have a question for you as well. So yeah, I know that you're doing so many amazing projects and you're like ambassador at your university for the internationalization. So one, I actually have a couple of questions. One, I probably already know the answer because you kind of responded, but I still am curious to learn more about, opportunities for internationalization, because there's always kind of inequality or financial, like you mentioned, inequality or financial constraints that come with traveling. And of course, we all love to travel, we all love to see the world, but it's not always possible. While it might be possible for students or leaders from the more developed countries like US, Canada, UK, and others, the opportunities for youth in our countries are less. So I wonder, how you make sense of it and what do you think can be done to still, provide those opportunities. You did talk about technology, but, based on your experience, has technology, technology is good, but it's not the same as the, face-to-face experience. So I just wondered how, what your experience has been with that. And yeah, that's probably just one question. And then after that, I can ask my second one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. A very nice question. Now, to start with, this is a big get access to internationalization, visiting other countries due to mainly finances. Maybe coming from a low-income family, they cannot raise the amount needed to sustain them in the other institutions. Now, in Dedan Kimathi University of Technology, we champion through our institution, the head of the institutions, they rolled out a program to support students for exchange. And this thing can also be, other institutions can learn from this. Those students, I think it's practiced in many institutions. Those students who get to perform in their classes, maybe their classes get A's, their gradings are so good, they get scholarships to have opportunities outside the countries. Now, this helps those students who do not have access to finances to get support and to access these other institutions for higher educations. Now, this is the big thing, and we are into scholarships. You have to fight for your space, like through your good studies, good grades, for you to get maybe a scholarship for exchange programs. We have exchanges within universities where a university will fund you to go for an internship outside. And also, we are now fighting for something access to loans, not fighting for, but we are championing for an access to loan for internationalization through the exchange program on IASTE. We want to encourage to ask our institutions where the institution can finance you to go out for the exchange programs, maybe for 3 months, can finance you on your stay, your transport, your everything. And once you come back, you can start paying the amount slowly by slowly. That's something that we are working on, since to get something for free, it's not that easy. Thank you.
Thanks so much for sharing, Ian. So before we move to our mentor expert session, I'll just want to ask both of you a last question. I don't think that Joseph is coming back. I think the technology access to internet might be an issue. If both of you could just reflect and share, since we'll have more people and youth watching this recording, what kind of word of inspiration or what kind of recommendation or advice would you give to youth out there in the world? We'll probably start with Laura and then continue with Ian. So Laura, go ahead, please.
I'll just say something. Never let the world decide and define who you are. You have to find that for yourself, and you have to fight for that for yourself.
No, maybe I can say to start with a nice quote that I really like. The world is a book, and those who do not travel only read one page. It's good to get to learn other cultures and visit other countries to know more. And on technology, it's good to engage with other youths through the technology to collaborate, do various projects together, learn different cultures. Internationalization is a very good thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's very inspirational. So I think we have about 15 minutes left before we go to the main session. So yeah, here is our session on mentorship or asking experts. Basically, we're going to talk about professional development, and we have Angela here as our expert. So feel free to ask any questions related to personal development, career planning, skills development, or networking, or more. I don't know if Angela, you want to say something first, and then we can move to some of the questions, but floor is yours. Feel free to share piece of wisdom with us.
Actually, I just had thoughts for both of you. And first of all, Laura, I laugh. I was a nerd girl too, so I completely understand what you were saying. Wondering
Thank you a lot.
Wondering if you guys have thought about like mentorship aspects of both of your programs, because I love mentorship a lot, because not only is it good for the new person just starting out, but it helps develop the leadership skills for the mentor too. And especially for the Ian, your program, I can see how if you're someone who is just coming to a large university, perhaps from a small village, it could be very intimidating to be starting out, and to have somebody that's been in your spot 2 years beforehand might be a huge help and a huge comfort to that person. So I just wondered if I thought maybe both want to think about putting that aspect into your programs. But do you have any questions for me?
I have one. As a mentor, what would you suggest for my program, for my project, for my nonprofit organization? What would be the best, where to start it?
Probably what I would say is networking as much as possible. Women's organizations, fundraisers, that sort of thing, just trying to get your word out to see if you can get more ideas for organization and financing, and that and people behind you to grow. But the more people that you talk to and explain what your passion is, the more people that you're going to have join on board with you to help you out in the future, I think.
Thank you.
No problem.
I also have a question. I'm curious to know, how do you...
Hey, Ian, if you can hear us, you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I was curious to know, how do you people, in some few words, how do you enhance internationalization in your institution? Do you do the same things like we do from the presentation I've just shared? Do you have students who really champion for internationalization? Do you have maybe a club in the institutions where students get to educate others on internationalization and stuff? Thank you.
I believe we do. I mean, have the ASP program, which is American Semester Program, where students come in from all over the world. And I love the fact that they do a lot of events together, because not only are they getting to learn about MSU's campus, but they're getting to learn about each other's home countries and spending time together and realizing that, you know, you might feel different from your neighbor when you first meet, but really you have a ton in common. So I think MSU is especially passionate about that. But obviously I'm a little biased because of what I do. So hope that helps.
Yes, thank you. And we are really looking up to you guys. Like, you're the big people in internationalization.
That's why I enjoy my job so much, because I get to send students go all over the world and, you know, get to know other cultures and have experiences that they're never going to forget. You know what I mean? So do you guys have any other more questions for me?
Well, if you don't, I have a question.
I have one.
Laura, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that I don't think I have another one, so it's okay.
Oh,
It's
okay.
great.
Okay, well, since Angela, I'm also, you know, I always believe in this, that it's always great to have a mentor, no matter what stage of life you are, but also be, to be a mentor, but also be a mentee. So that's just like a life principle that I always hold, because, you know, we're always, you know, like in a learning mode. So my question is probably related to like intercultural, cross-cultural mentorship. I don't know if you know, have worked with mentees who didn't come from your culture, or just being, you know, being from Michigan, or like working in Michigan, but also working at a global, you know, our global institution, as MSU claims. How do you, yeah, what do you think about those kind of cross-cultural mentorship opportunities, or whether you had any experience with that? Thank you.
I don't have too much experience with it because I am somewhat new to MSU, and I haven't, I didn't come from a university prior. I've come from the private sector. So, but I want to foster that as much as possible, because I believe the more that we have those kind of relationships, the more everyone can see how much we have in common. And it's never going to hurt to have everybody in the same room realizing our common traits together all the time, if that makes sense.
Thank you. Is there anything else anyone has, any reflections or any questions, I don't know, to me, or just want to share something else? Because we do have about 10 minutes left. We can take time, or we can just take a break maybe. So whatever works for you guys.
I would just like to say that for me personally, it's like an extreme honor and privilege to be presenting today, because I always wanted to study in the US, but some kind of stuff, and I couldn't make it, couldn't do it. But it's like extremely important to me today, and I was really looking forward to it for like 1 year or so since the first moment I got the email, and it was such nice and beautiful experience to get to know you and also to be part of the discussion.
Thanks so much for sharing, Laura. And you're always welcome to come to US, to Michigan State. Definitely, you know, you have my email address, you have Angela's address, so feel free to reach out. Would love to host you guys, show you around. You know, invitation is always there, standing invitation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys both for doing your presentations today. I've really enjoyed this. And if you have any questions, or if there's any way that I can help, just email me and reach out and we'll see what we can do.
Thank you very
Sounds
much.
good.
Thanks.
So
yeah, I think we
yeah.
just take a break maybe for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, sounds good. So I'll see you in the main room in 10 minutes. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you. We'll be in touch.